Praise be to Jesus and Mary. You're listening to Returning to Catholic Roots in a New Age World, a podcast hosted by Holly and Mandy. Let's begin our show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast, Returning to Catholic Roots in a New Age World. My name is Holly, and as always, I'm joined here by my mother, Mandy, and we'll begin our episode by saying, Jesus, meek and humble of heart, make our hearts like unto thine. So I want to begin today's episode...
with a cough?
No, not with a cough, but thank you for that.
What would our episode be without a cough?
Without a cough from my mom. Anyways.
It is a lot better, though.
Right. What did Father and I say to you?
Oh, he made fun of me. It's okay. Because I tried to give him some advice on his cough.
Give him advice on his cough about suppressing his cough. And then what did he say? He was visiting this weekend.
Goes, you should suppress that.
You should suppress Oh, I died. His Father and I love him. Okay. Anyways, no, but I'd say on a serious note, I did want to begin. You're going to be listening to this on Thursday, which is the feast of our patron of our podcast, St. Teresa.
Yeah, I'm going to Mass tomorrow.
First and foremost, St. Teresa, very happy feast day. Please pray for us. But we're recording this on the feast of our guardian angels.
Yeah, and you went to Mass.
I went to Mass this morning because...
I was lazy this morning.
Well, I said to the kids last night, I said, tomorrow's the Feast of the Guardian Angels, and I think there's nothing more our guardian angels would want more than for us to get up and go to Mass. And I said, a feast day is a chance to, show a saint or your guardian angel how special they are to you.
Right.
And I was reflecting on how every morning, on the mornings I don't go to Mass, I send my angel to Mass.
Right, yes, I do too, every morning.
Every morning, but then I thought, no, this is my angel's feast. I'm not going to send my angel to Mass on his feast day.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and say I'm going, and I offered my Mass in gratitude for my guardian angel and all he does for me. And, and it's a very special feast day, I think, one that I've neglected.
I think that angels get highly neglected. I say them in my... I always send my angel to Mass if I don't go. And I always say my guardian angel prayer. Those are standards, everyday prayers.
Yeah, you start out of the gate.
You start out your gate,
to your angel,
but I feel like I don't think about it.
Yeah, what about throughout the day,
Why aren't I thinking about you?
Why aren't I constantly, remembering that there's...
when you have that near miss, you go, ooh, thank you, guardian angel.
Yeah. But, just like anything, really, when we say, we always call on God and we always go to God in struggle and strife, but how often do we go to him in good times and happiness and gratitude,
Right, yeah.
So I was thinking about that with my angel, and I'm reading this book that Father Naya gave me.
Yeah.
Or that I more or less took out of his hands at the basement of the church. Anyway, it's a funny story, but it's one of those you had to be there, so I'm not even going to bother.
Right. There you go. Okay, real funny, Holly.
Yeah, you're hilarious. But anyways, so I took this book, and it's called Saint Michael and the Angels.
Yeah.
And it's a really good book. I'm only on chapter 2, but you're supposed to read a chapter a day. It's like there's chapter for a day in the month.
Right.
So I guess you're supposed to start at the beginning. It doesn't matter. You can start whenever you want, but there's a really great thing in there about chapter 2 about the angels.
Yeah.
And about, they all you need to do is turn to your angel and ask them.
Right.
And remember them and lean on them. And, so it was just very...
I tried to give this quote once before. It's actually sitting right in front of me because I'm sitting in front of my computer. And on the St. Michael feast day, I gave, I thought I cannot let St. Michael's feast day go by without posting this because it's probably one of my favorite Bible quotes. I just think it's so powerful. And I tried to tell it a few podcasts ago, and of course I didn't have it in front of me, so I butchered it.
Okay, so you're going to
But anyway, but I should read it now because it is right in front of me. Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it? Because it's right there at the top.
Okay. Is this in the Guardians of Truth?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so
and that Guardians of Truth Holy Hour that I compiled, there's a lot in it about the angels.
Yeah. This is this right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is lesson from the book of Exodus. Quote, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will send my angel who shall go before thee, and keep thee in thy journey, and bring thee unto the place that I have prepared. Take notice of him, and hear his voice, and do not think him one to be condemned, for he will not forgive when thou hast sinned, and my name is in him. But if thou wilt hear his voice, and do all that I speak, I will be an enemy of thine enemies, and will afflict them that afflict thee, and my angel shall go before thee. End quote.
I mean, it sounds a little bit...
I'm pretty sure part of that was in the epistle today.
Was it?
The gradual, maybe. This part, I mean, okay, I'm getting very confused because
I don't have a missile
the Mass on Sunday we had the dedication of Saint Michael, the feast dedication of Saint Michael, and that Mass goes back and forth between, like, it says parts of the Mass are there, but then it's like, for the epistle, go to the Mass of the Holy Guardian Angels.
Right.
Or parts. I may be missing it up. So I've read a lot about the angels in the last 3 days.
Right.
So I may be getting things mixed up. But anyways, I'm pretty sure it was in today's Mass, part of that.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, sometimes you read things and they
really resonate with you.
Yeah, but they also change the way you think.
Right.
This was one of those moments that this actually is one of my key things in the way I think and what I come to believe, even about why bad things happen to good people or, vice versa. Like, our angel wants us to get to heaven more than anything.
Right.
So he wants us to do what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And when we don't, he's like, okay, maybe,
What? I can't even say it because I might mess it up. I'm pretty sure I read something where it was like, when you sin, your guardian angel actually like turns away.
Yes.
From you.
Right.
Like he's so.
So
he kind of use the word disgusted, but
well, I would say he like, okay, you've opened the door to your own.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn away because I can't.
You've opened the door to your own consequences.
Yeah, and it's funny because I believe Father and I said in his sermon this Sunday that like if you just stopped and thought for a second, like your angel is always beside you.
Right.
Like think of that when you're sinning.
Yeah.
Your angel is there watching.
Right, right.
I mean, we know God is always watching. We know that.
Right.
But it doesn't stop us.
No, it doesn't stop us.
But we forget about our angel.
Yeah.
Standing right there, right in the room with us as we're sinning.
And I mean, there's a whole lot of meditation, even the mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Like, we have to start realizing that we carry the burden of fault with us.
Right.
I mean, and I'm gonna use myself as an example because I've been at this 30 years, and in the beginning you do think you're extra special.
Oh yeah.
Like you do think that there's, and God bless you if you don't think this way, if you just come by humility all naturally.
Yeah.
And you realize that, as what does St. Paul say? The greatest sinner am I.
Yeah.
What's that saying? Yeah. Like St. Paul knew he was the greatest sinner.
Yeah.
Right? Because he had the idea is that he had the most knowledge.
Right.
So if you have the most knowledge, then you have to be the most saintly.
Yeah.
Right? And the saints compared themselves to God. We have a tendency in the beginning, if we don't grow spiritually, we have a tendency to compare ourselves to other people.
Right.
And of course we're better, of course we look better.
Yeah.
But are we?
Yeah.
We're not, because they don't call themselves a child of God.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Right? So these are just thoughts. These are just thoughts because, I mean, the thing is that humility is the key to everything and doing God's will. And you have those two things, humility and God's will. So you have an angel that will tell you what to do.
Right.
All you have to do is listen.
Yeah.
And you have to have your ears open. You have to ask him, say, well, I don't really know what to do in this situation. What should I do? Like, he's not going to say, well, Mandy, you need to do this.
Yeah.
No, but he will tell you in ways.
Yeah. We got a dog here.
Dog situation. Okay, come on, you go outside.
Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to take that opportunity to make sure that I made special mention to my guardian angel, to thank him for everything he does for me, and what a gift, what a precious, that's the other thing, what a precious gift.
Yeah.
From God.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to send his angel who had to leave heaven.
Yeah.
To be here with us.
Right.
So it's a gift. It really is. Mm-hmm. One that I take for granted anyways.
Yeah.
Constantly. Anyway, so, well, should we jump into our book or?
Yeah, well, just jump into our book.
Okay, so we left off, we're in the Handbook of Good Manners from the Mother House of the Sisters of Charity, and we were talking about table manners, general reminders, but now we're going into foods, like specific foods. So they're starting with breakfast here. So, quote, when eating grapefruit or an orange, do not lift it from the plate, but convey the sections and juice to the mouth with a teaspoon. Do not scrape the rind dry, nor squeeze the fruit with the hand. When finished, turn the rind upside down so that the closed part is exposed. End quote. That is very specific.
So they're going to get into specifics on how to eat certain foods. Grapefruit, I would say, is probably a difficult. I don't remember the last time I sat with somebody eating a grapefruit. Like, I don't know, maybe it's
to eat grapefruit in public, Mom.
I mean,
people. It's too messy.
Yeah, I know. People buy grapefruit sections already packaged, like, fruit cocktail or something. Yeah. I don't remember.
I love grapefruit, but I don't eat it in public. Like, I would never take a grapefruit and eat it in front of somebody because it's just too messy.
The sisters have to sit at a
no, I know. That's why this is there. They don't go, oh, I'm going to go home and eat my grapefruit.
Yeah, I'll just eat grapefruit in the privacy of my own kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
But...
Okay, quote, to avoid the embarrassment of removing pits from the mouth, in the case of such fruits as prunes, try to detach the pit with the side of the spoon while the fruit is still in the saucer. A little practice shows that the process is easy, end quote.
So they have to take great care with, like, watermelon. How about watermelons?
Okay, but I will say, though, that is very true. How awkward. Like, I wasn't thinking of prune. I don't eat prunes. But, like... an olive? You pop an olive in your mouth and then there's a pit and you're standing there talking to somebody?
Peach? Say you're eating a peach. I mean, I guess, and then you wrap it in a napkin, I guess.
But you chew off of a peach. You don't put the whole thing in your mouth.
Right, I guess, yeah.
But I'm just saying, I've been in situations where I pop an olive in my mouth and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a pit in here.
I would say that
and then how do
for
you
them
take
as
it out?
Religious, they have to be very careful about
what they eat and how they eat it.
And how they eat it. Like, I mean, but let's just think about this for a minute. How much care they take in such minor things. I mean, I don't even think watermelons have pits in them anymore, do they? Most of them are seedless. Like they've...
Yeah, I haven't seen watermelon seeds in ages.
We used to have seed spitting contests. Yeah. I guess the nuns would be out.
Yeah.
We should be out too. But I'm just saying, like, we don't have... They're being trained to have couth.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Quote, in regard to grapes or fresh cherries, correct usage approves of removing the pits from the mouth with the fingers. However, it seems more delicate to use a spoon for this purpose. So to what, put a spoon in your mouth and then put the pit on it and bring it back down?
That seems very weird and awkward.
Yeah. I would feel like that would attract more attention, but whatever.
I would have a napkin and spit them into a napkin.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, but... I mean, if I was trying to eat delicately.
Yeah.
Or maybe I wouldn't take cherries.
Cherries are so good. Okay, quote, when eating apples, peaches, pears, plums, have the fruit with your knife. Then cut into quarters and small sections according as you eat. With the aid of your knife, remove the seeds and skin from each small section and carry the piece to the mouth with your fingers. End quote. That's very good point. So they don't want you biting into anything.
Right.
They want you cutting it.
Well, it's sloppy and it's messy.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're trying to preserve their habits too. Right?
Oh, here we go.
Well, okay.
It's getting better.
Okay, better.
Quote, eat your banana with a fork. Or if you prefer, have it, place the halves in your cereal dish and cut them into smaller sections with the side of your spoon. Etiquette approves of eating bananas in this way mixed with the cereal.
I would cut it. I would just peel it and cut it.
Yeah.
And put it on a plate then.
So really, they just really don't want you bringing any food to your mouth with your fingers.
Right. Like it's very casual.
Yeah.
Like if you think about somebody eating a banana and they're just, there and they're chomping away on this banana.
Yeah.
It's just they want to preserve the delicate nature of their vocation.
Yeah.
Which, and we should maybe as mothers, we should maybe be doing the same. Like, don't eat slovenly. And, you're trying to teach your daughters how to be. And we should take a little more attention to it. That's all. I think, it's a valid point.
Yeah. Quote, use the spoon with the motion towards you when you're eating cereal or preserved fruit. The cereal saucer may be placed on your plate. Bread, toast, and rolls should be broken, never cut with a knife. Never butter a whole slice of bread or toast, nor a whole roll, nor convey a large piece to the mouth to be bitten into. Small pieces should be broken off and buttered according as you eat. End quote.
Interesting. So they want you
they don't want you to cut the roll. They want you to break it.
Well, if you just picture, so you have a bun and you take a piece off, put a little butter on, you pop it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Seems awkward.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just more delicate to do it that way. I don't know that people would do that. Like I don't see that if you had a bun, you cut it in half and you buttered it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And put it in. But anyway, they're trying to keep the formality.
Yeah.
To the eating.
Okay, quote, lift your cup by the handle, never by grasping the body of the cup with the hand. In stirring your coffee or tea in order to dissolve the sugar, be careful not to do so as if vigorously churning. A gentle motion back and forth is equally effective. Do not even for a moment leave your spoon in the cup. End quote.
And make sure your pinky is pointing up.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you should never leave the spoon in your cup. My Auntie Grace taught me that.
Yeah.
Get that spoon out of your cup.
Well, we are professional tea drinkers, so we do it the proper way, the way the English demand it.
Right. Okay, now we're going into dinner and supper. So, quote, correct usage now permits the tilting of the soup plate, also the sipping of soup from the point edge of the spoon. Use the spoon with the motion away from you. When finished, leave the spoon in the soup plate, bowl up. End quote.
So they're allowed to tip their bowl to get the last drop of soup. Is that what I'm reading? Is that what I'm not reading? I'm listening.
Yeah,
hearing
tilting the soup. Yeah.
The other thing that the nuns are very, very cautious of, that we're not so cautious of, is waste.
They don't waste food.
They do not waste food. They do not throw things out. They do not. In the old days, my dad, he told me once the ham went moldy, or not moldy, but green and slimy, and ham was really, really expensive in the fridge. He said he made his wife, my grandmother, serve every last bit of that ham.
Yeah,
they had to eat it. And he said his mother, my grandmother, she had to think of ways. She was thinking of ways how to disguise the gross slimy ham. And my dad said he will never forget it as long as he lived.
Yes,
but he said, you know how much money that ham was, and they let it go bad?
Yeah.
And we are so
wasteful. Well,
wasteful.
I remember seeing someone who's, I know, is very mindful of food wastage, and their plate was so clean.
Yes.
So clean after they were done eating. I'm not saying you would have.
Yeah.
But you could have put it back in the cupboard and nobody would know.
And
I was like, wow, like every sauce, every crumb, everything was gone.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a matter of that they were starving.
No, they were just
they're very mindful of food.
Of the food, and that they'd never waste anything.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that mothers, because in our day and age, mothers have a bit of a hard time with that, because then they end up eating their children's plates, and they tell you, not to do that, because then you're putting on weight, because you got to clean up after all your children.
Yeah.
But I would say don't give your children so much so you don't have that
then
problem.
Clean up, yeah.
But we, to me, I think it's a serious, serious flaw in our society. The waste, the over extravagance, and I think that we're coming to a stage in our life here where food is getting ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Like back during the war, I remember a story from somebody I knew. May she rest in peace now. But she was in the war, and they used to take the egg. They would break the egg, and she would take her finger to get air into the egg to get every last bit of that white out of that egg. Like they had known what it was like to starve.
Yeah.
And we don't know what it's like to starve.
No, we don't.
We are so
Spoiled.
picky. Like and picky, like, oh, I don't eat tomatoes, I don't eat this, I don't eat mushrooms. And like, it's very, very difficult. It's not children. I mean, if you reflect that the children and their picky eating habits, well, the adults are really picky.
Yeah.
No, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. Like they have their very set list of what they will eat and what they will not eat. So it's very, very hard if the children don't get the example from the adults.
Yeah.
That they'll just eat something for the sake of eating it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one day we may all be starving.
Well, we will be starving. I made a thing. I went to get a can of pumpkin today. It was $6 a can. I was going to buy 2 cans to make something I was going to make.
Yeah.
That would have been $12. I said, that's...
So what'd you do, buy a pumpkin instead?
Yep, I went and bought some pie pumpkins.
And you're going to can it?
Well, I'm not going to can it. I'm using it for something.
Oh.
So what I did was I just threw them in the oven, baked them so they're cooked. And I'll wait for them to cool, and then I'll cut them, and then I'll scrape the insides out, and then I'll have all the pulpy meat of the pumpkin, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that hard. It's just a slight bit time-consuming, and you have to be a little bit prepared. You can't do anything at the last minute.
Right.
But, like, we have to get more frugal in the way we cook and the way we eat, because times are going to get tough. They're started. Like, $6 for a can of pumpkin? Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we have to learn to be more like the nuns and the frugal people. And gluttony is a capital sin. And I don't even think we think about it much.
No, we don't. Okay, quote, cut your meat a piece at a time, according as you eat. Sausages, frankfurters, hamburgers, meatballs, meatloaf, and other meat dishes of like consistency are cut with the side of the fork. 1 piece at a time, according as one is ready to eat. Chops, steak, portion of fowl, or meat served in slices are cut with a knife. End quote. So cut your meat 1 piece at a time.
Yeah.
As you're eating.
Right. Mm-hmm. So don't just sit there and cut a whole whack of meat.
No.
I don't, I guess it's just a way, it's just a rule to keep you delicate, I guess.
Yeah, that's what all these are. Okay, quote, don't take meat bones with your fingers. Cut the meat from them as well as you can. End quote. That's why I do not like ribs, chicken wings. Those are another type of food that I only like to eat in the privacy of my own home.
Right.
By myself.
Yeah.
I just find it so caveman-ish.
Yeah.
To pick up a chicken wing and so if I was out somewhere and somebody made chicken wings or ribs, I would always eat it. Like, I'm not saying I won't eat it, but I'll sit there with a fork and knife trying to get because I just can't do it. I just don't know why. I cannot pick up meat in front of other people and just go.
Well, hopefully they cook it so tender it falls off the bone.
I know, because I've been in places where it's very hard. You're struggling to get meat, and I don't know what's worse. Maybe I should just pick it up and eat it. But how does one eat ribs delicately? You don't.
Well, if they fall off the bone, it's not so bad. But, I mean, chicken wings are my favorite
No, they're
food.
So good.
They are my favorite food.
But, again,
so if I go out, I'm always tempted to order chicken wings.
I know. I want them, but I don't.
And now I have to think about this.
I know. It's
because they are messy.
It's a me problem. I don't know. Other people have no problem. My husband has no problem.
Well, I mean, that's because he doesn't care that he's being messy. But it is messy.
No, they are messy. And your fingers are all sticky and you're,
really sticky.
Yeah, but they're so good.
I know. I guess we should be thankful at this moment that we're not a nun.
Yeah, because I bet you they would eat chicken wings.
I don't know.
Well, they would try to avoid it at all costs, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, quote, avoid using bread to absorb sauces or gravies and never dip into your soup, tea, coffee, or other beverage?
It's
End quote?
over. Life is over.
That's my, what? I can't, how can I go to Swiss Chalet anymore? This is just podcast ending now, right here. That is my favorite part of a meal.
What?
Is to take my bread. If nice roll or something, and Thanksgiving's coming up, I take my dinner roll and I just and the gravy on my plate and get a little potato on there.
Yeah.
Whew.
Maybe we'll pretend like we're. Oh, I won't mention names, but we'll pick and choose what we want to listen to.
I can't believe that. My mind is blown right now that you're not supposed to do that.
Wow. I mean, this is...
How can
remember,
I ever go...
this is for religious.
I know, this is for religious. I will tell you, ladies, I will still probably dip my bread in the gravy. I can't.
But and it's, maybe different orders don't have all these rules.
Maybe,
but
yeah.
I feel like they must teach them a lot of etiquette and how they have to hold themselves in, because all the nuns I've known are not slovenly with their food. They're very, very neat, and they're very, very particular and reserved. I mean, let's remember, to be reserved is a virtue.
Right.
So, I mean, we should be practicing that virtue on the daily anyway.
Yeah. Okay, quote, as it's embarrassing to remove bits of bone, gristle, or skin from the mouth, try to cut away these things before lifting the food from the plate. Unless the ears served are small, break your corn on the cob into convenient halves, holding the piece in your napkin while doing so. Butter a small part at a time and keep your fingers as clean as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Do not shake the salt cellar over the whole piece, but dip the knife into some salt taken on the plate for this purpose. Salt should be used in this way for seasoning other food as well. End quote. So they can't eat corn on the cob.
Yeah.
They just have to break it in half first.
They can't just mow down.
On a big old corn stalk.
Yeah.
Okay, quote, etiquette does not sanction the shaking of the salt cellar, I think that's another word for salt shaker, over the whole plate full of food. Oh, so you're not supposed to do that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people would find that insulting to the chef, too.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that's the reason why they wouldn't do that, but it's
a rigorous action, though, too, right? Shaking the salt shaker over your food, it's very vigorous.
I mean, but there are people that don't actually salt or pepper their food. I'm not one of them.
I never use salt, pepper.
What, when you're cooking?
No.
On the table?
On the table.
Yeah, well, see,
whatever food is put in front of me, I don't ever salt or pepper it.
We were raised to serve food
already seasoned.
Yeah. Right? So... but I know there's a lot of people that say, well, if you want salt, here it is.
Right.
Because they haven't...
Yeah, but I still never put it on.
They haven't salted it.
Even after they say that.
Yeah.
I just, whatever you put down in front of me, that's the way I'm going to eat it. I think because it's a habitual thing. I've never put salt on my food because I never had to growing up.
Right. No, like we didn't.
So I just eat it as it is. And if it's bland, well, then there it's bland. Mm-hmm. You know? Okay, quote, asparagus is eaten with a fork. Cut the stalks as you eat with the side of the fork. End quote.
Well,
that would be pretty hard to do, don't you think?
Well, I think, just speaking, we're big asparagus eaters here in this house.
I've never been able to get through a stalk of asparagus with the side of a fork.
I know, but it's very, when we're sitting around, I have picked up the odd pieces asparagus put it in your mouth, my finger and just ate it. I think that's what they're telling you.
They're probably like, don't pick it up with your fingers.
Don't pick it up with your finger.
It's a fork food.
It's
not a fork finger food.
It's not a finger food. I'm just guessing.
Okay, this one is good. Quote, spaghetti is eaten with a fork. For convenience, cut the strands with the side of the fork. End quote. I do feel like, do you have to really tell people that spaghetti is eaten with a fork?
Well, how do they eat it if they don't have it?
Oh, maybe they're thinking not with a spoon. Like, they can't be thinking fingers. There's no way you would pick up spaghetti with your fingers.
I don't know. To me, the proper way to eat spaghetti is with a spoon and a fork.
Spoon and a fork.
And you twine the spaghetti around on the spoon.
Either, because if you don't do that, it's dripping down your face.
Yes, that's the neatest way to eat spaghetti, if you want my personal opinion. So... I don't know what they're saying there.
Quote, potato chips are eaten with the fingers. End quote. They're allowed to eat potato chips.
Yeah.
That's my guilty.
Mine too.
Oh, I don't even buy them anymore.
Well, I've been buying them because the kids come and then they go right. Even little Adeline, what is she? She's 2.
Almost
right.
3.
Teach it, Grandma. Teach it. You know, and she goes right to the cupboard.
That was a good impression.
And she goes right to the cupboard. She looks up there for them.
Yeah.
So now they've come and they're always looking for them. But I didn't buy them before that. But now I'm like, oh, it's just easy, and then they're always there. And
okay, quote, avoid putting whole olives in the mouth. Bite off the fruit in small pieces and then place it on the plate, end quote. Well, that would help me with the pit situation.
Yeah.
They don't want you putting a whole olive in your mouth.
That'd be awkward. I would just avoid the olives altogether. If they weren't,
so
if they had pits in them, I would be like, no.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know.
Right.
Until you pop it in and then, oh, there's a pit. Okay, quote, use a fork for pickles except when they are served with sandwiches. In the latter case, use the hand when putting them into the mouth. End quote.
So you're allowed to pick up a baby dill.
Oh, like if it's served with a sandwich.
Yeah.
Not a sandwich. Gotcha. Okay, quote, celery is held in the hand and small pieces are directly bitten from the stalk. When serving yourself the condiments, put them at the side of the plate, not directly on the food itself, end quote.
I'm gonna say something really interesting.
Really?
What?
You can't put your condiments on your food?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something really interesting here, and this is a time lapse problem here. Okay, we do a lot of things called veggies and dips.
Yeah.
When this book was written, that was not a thing.
Not a thing, yeah.
That was not a thing that you put, a bunch of carrot sticks or celery sticks or little broccolis. And that is finger food. You pick it up with your finger and you dip it in the dip. You have a little dip and you eat it. When that book was written, it wasn't a thing, because I know this for a fact, because my mother never heard of it. And she remembered when my grandfather, when they got married, he would be eating the mushrooms raw and the vegetables raw. And she'd be like,
what are you doing?
Like, that was really gross to her.
Yeah.
She used to always say, your father, he just come in and he'd be eating those mushrooms raw. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's gross,
Yeah.
And so she said, no, I remember my parents telling me they never had that.
Right. So that's even new to the 60s?
Well, they got married in 61.
Yeah, so
so somewhere.
So 70s even.
Yeah.
Maybe the 70s.
I don't know when.
80s?
I remember in the 80s we always had vegetable platters. I don't remember before that. Of course, I was a kid.
Yeah. Huh, interesting. Quote, as a rule, try to use your fork for cutting salads. However, in the case of hard lettuce or other things difficult to manage, you may use the knife. Okay, quote, sandwiches are conveyed directly to the mouth by the hand. Bite-sized sandwiches are not to be broken. Those of average size are broken into small pieces. 3-decker or club sandwiches are cut with a knife into sections convenient to handle. Forks are used for layer cake or for such other kinds as would soil the hands. Dry sliced cake and small individual cakes may be broken with the fingers and taken directly to the mouth.
So I guess it's a bit of common sense here,
I just don't shovel
a
your
finger.
food.
We go to showers. Women have showers, and a lot of times little sandwiches are dished out, and you're not going to take that little sandwich and start cutting it up.
Yeah,
that would be silly.
Yeah,
it's a finger food. We have such a thing called as finger food, and they serve that kind of thing at a lot of get-togethers, to stop people from taking plates.
Right.
Just to nibble at platters.
Right. Yeah.
But there is food does go in trends. If you ever are on YouTube, you can watch it. I watch, me, I watch all kinds of weird things. But
you don't say.
I watch.
You're friends with her on Facebook. You know this. She always posts about it. So I watched this weird movie the other day.
But I watch. They'll pick up the Good Housekeeping, or the ones I really like are the cookbook ones, where they'll find a cookbook from the 1920s, or they'll cook like a day from the 1950s. And food does go in trends. Something will be it's what they eat, and then in the 70s and then the 80s they stop eating it. I think mainly because we have we're inundated with foods, right? and so people get sick of it. Okay, we've had that too much, don't want it anymore. Everybody, when in the 80s, every cake was a Black Forest cake.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, or a carrot cake. Carrot cakes, the Black Forest is hardly around at all.
Yeah.
But, there's so many trends, but.
Yeah. Well, that finishes up the section specifically about food.
Yeah, but I think what we can take away from this is to have reserve.
Yeah, it's
to be cautious of our presence.
So the next time we sit down at the table, try to be a little dainty.
Try to be dainty. I'm going to try.
I'm not going to, dip my bread in the gravy. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
That one will take some time.
I
might try after Thanksgiving. We're Canadian, so our Thanksgiving's coming up in 2 weeks, 2 weekends.
Yeah, it's awful time to have Thanksgiving.
Awful time. It's still, today was 18 degrees outside.
I know. It's usually, we've had more Thanksgivings outside.
That's 18, that's Celsius.
Yeah.
For those that are like 18 degrees. Are you serious? That's freezing.
A little chilly.
A little chilly. No, that's Celsius.
So 18 degrees is what?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not good with the Fahrenheit. Maybe like 85. Was it 85?
I'm going to look right here. Just a minute here.
85? I don't know. 18 degrees. You tell us, Mom.
It's 64 degrees.
64. Oh, I was way off.
64.4.
Yeah. So anyways, but 85. That would be really hot. That would be really hot, wouldn't it?
85.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot.
That's really hot.
When you get into the 90s, that's boiling hot. Yeah. That's all I know.
Well, anyways, so yeah, we're going to be having Thanksgiving, and I wish ours was a little later, but whatever. Tomato, tomato, here we are. Yeah. But we're having our episode this week is just a little bit, we're going to have to cut it a little bit short because we have choir practice and we got a lot of things on the go this week. As per usual. And, we did miss last week, so I apologize to anybody who was sad that we weren't here. Mm-hmm. But
hopefully someone was sad.
Hopefully one person was sad. I don't know. Anyways, but we'll leave it there. And
we know Phyllis would be sad.
Yeah, I know one person will be sad. At least I always have that. You can comment below and tell us if you were sad. We'd like to know.
And remember, like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. And we always forget to say that. I think because we're just... it's so like we're doing the episode and then we post it to the Catholic Family Podcast, and it's not exactly our channel per se. We're contributors. Yeah. So I do always forget to throw that little plug out there.
And I know this sounds stupid, but I'm just like, I feel like it's like, oh, look at me. Yeah, like, oh, you want to look at me. And I
don't like that.
I like to more think of like, well, God's will.
God's will, yeah.
Yeah, God's will. If we say anything that's, is helpful or
like it.
Hopefully you like it.
Hopefully
you like it, and hopefully it helps. So
yeah. So anyway, we'll leave it there, and God willing, we'll be back next week, and actually, maybe not.
Why? What's next week?
Jogathon and.
Oh, we can still fit it in. We're trying to pull it together.
We're trying to pull it together. We've had a little bit of a rough go lately with just, a lot of things coming to a head. And not anything serious. It's just stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, fall is a very busy time.
But there isn't a time that's not busy.
There's a time that's not busy.
And we're trying to...
And then after fall, we'll say we're busy getting ready for Christmas.
And you losing your job. I know that sounds like Holly should have more time. She lost her job.
It actually seems like the opposite. But
yeah, it's because you're trying to reinvent.
I'm trying to reinvent the wheel here, and that's not the right saying. What's this?
Well, you're trying to something yourself. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
So it's...
Get myself some sort of income, we'll just say that.
Yeah, so it's kind of taken a lot of work. And a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, there's pressure, yeah.
So anyway,
we will, God willing, hopefully be back next week. And until then, we hope that you have a very blessed week. May our Lord bless you and Our Lady guide you always. And Saint Teresa,
pray for us.